Welcome to the lunch break from the newsroom of the Ann Arbor News. I'm education reporter David Jesse, and I'm joined here today by Linda Carter, who's the president of the Ann Arbor School District's Teacher Union. We're talking today about the district's middle school restructuring plan, which started this school year. Just kind of taking a look, see at how it's been going. In today's paper, we talked to several teachers and students and parents about the plan and their thoughts, and I just wanted to chat with Linda and see a little bit how her members are reacting to this massive restructuring of the school day. So maybe that's my first question for you, Linda. Kind of what's the vibe out there among the middle school teachers in Ann Arbor?
And having been at the middle school for a long, long time prior to me being the president, I actually watched the middle school evolve over the last 20 years. This year, it's different. There's one less planning period for our colleagues. They're having to do business differently, and this is not to minimize what we need to do for our children. One of the real things that has gone on this year from the standpoint of that lack of the additional planning time, our colleagues at middle school don't have enough of an opportunity to visit with each other, to plan together, to structure what goes on in the various grade levels. And prior to this year's restructuring, we had 2 planning periods which allowed our members to look at how we're going to deliver business for our students at the middle school. And without that one period, it's been very difficult to have those kinds of conversations about student achievement. And so that's the one thing that I hear, people not having the ability to get together with their colleagues.
Well, one of the things the restructuring did is it shortened the school day from 7 classes down to 6 classes. The start and the end timers are the same. They just sort of stretched it. Teachers say, and teachers like you mentioned lost that one planning period, said that, you know, they're in a classroom for a long time with a lot of wave after wave of students coming, and they don't have that time to spend necessarily working on some of that individual instruction and meeting with their colleagues to talk about it. Why is that important to spend that time talking to a fellow teacher about little Jimmy and his struggles?
Well, a lot of it, just for the mere factor, when we used to have teaming, we'd have some of the same children. The teaming no longer happens, and so you're at a point where you're having to ask people about students whenever you can catch them. The opportunities for teachers to spend time with kids on one-on-one. Some of our best time would happen when we had that additional planning period, when you were able to have kids to come in. You could have kids to come in during the advisory. That isn't happening as much anymore either, where we could spend some time helping kids. I can remember particularly when I was at Tappan, kids had an opportunity to come down and work on practice tests and what have you with that additional planning period, when I would work it out with my teammates on the elective team. And with the way the schedule is now, that just can't happen in an orderly way to help our students.
Another issue that was raised from some parents who said that because the teachers are busier and don't have the planning period, they're having a little harder time running a teacher down. You know, they send an email throughout the course of the day, you know, in the morning, how, you know, little Jimmy mentioned he's having an issue with this, how can I help, or, you know, and it's just taken a little bit longer to get back. Is that kind of all the accumulation of that stress and extra time?
From what my colleagues tell me, but that does not say that we're not trying to stay in touch with our parents. Parents are part of the partnership along with the student and the teacher. But just finding the available time during the day to shoot off an email with the one period, and then squeezing in the lunchtime too. You know, we have a 25-minute duty-free lunch at middle school, and so having to do the balancing act, it's been a challenge, but it's also important that we do try to get a hold of parents in a timely manner.
One of the reasons, the main reason to make this change, of course, was money. The district was looking to save a couple $1 million. I know, Linda, you served on the committee last school year that looked at this. Is this just a case of this was the best possible solution to having to make changes to get that money?
Our middle school program was one of the more costlier programs, and I think that's where the district and the board saw a need to take a look at reductions. We're putting together a middle school review committee in the next couple of weeks to begin having some conversation, and this committee will consist of teachers, parents, community leaders, as we had last winter, about the same time a year ago. So I think it will be really important for teachers, parents, community leaders to have some dialogue about how things are going. And as we get through the year, perhaps we need to take a look at how we deliver the curriculum to our students. And we also want to make sure that we continue our competitiveness. This has been a wonderful school district. I've been here for 33 years. We send a majority of our kids to some of the finest universities around the country. So we want to continue to keep that level of expertise and the quality of our delivery right there on the forefront.
Well, thank you, Linda. You can read more about this in today's newspaper. You can also visit our education team's blog at blog.mlive.com/study hall or at our website www.mlive.com/Ann Arbor News.